The beautiful Cheryl Teagues joins our magazine Wednesday at 9.
Next on Nightcast, the real estate industry turns to giveaways to get your business. Debate over Contra aid takes center stage among the 8th District candidates tonight. But tonight's top story, reaction to a guilty verdict in connection with the Medford Depositors Trust heist. That's next on Nightcast.
Live from WBZ-TV 4, Jack Williams, Liz Walker, Bob Lobel, Bruce Schwegler, and Joyce Cole-Haywick. This is Eyewitness News, Nightcast.
Good evening. Liz is off tonight. Jeanne Blake joins me at the anchor desk.
Former MDC Police Captain Gerald Clemente is facing a long future behind bars tonight after he was sentenced to 30 to 40 years in prison.
Clemente was convicted today of masterminding the $1.5 million Depositors Trust bank heist back in 1980. But the question remains, when, if ever, will the victims of the robbery get their compensation?
Say, Madam Floor Lady, is the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Clemente showed no sign of emotion when the Middlesex County jury read its verdict. Guilty on all 5 counts, 4 counts of breaking and entering, and 1 count of larceny. After arguments from lawyers on both sides, Judge Robert Barton took the unusual step of sentencing Clemente immediately.
Very frankly, this defendant is a disgrace to every honest, decent, hard-working police officer.
I'm standing across from Depositors Trust. The victims of the crime, people who had safe deposit boxes in Depositors Trust, claimed they lost $2.5 million in cash and jewels. Ironically, the conviction of former MDC Police Captain Gerald Clemente may prolong the victims' fight to recover some of their losses.
It's been 6 years now since this happened, and only God knows how much longer this thing is going to go on. It just makes you so depressed when you think that you may never retrieve what you lost.
Ann Traina lost about $15,000 in jewels from her safe deposit box. She's one of the 200 victims who won a suit against Depositors Trust last fall, saying the bank was negligent in maintaining its alarm systems. Now, an attorney for the bank thinks Clemente's conviction may reopen the suit.
We're certainly going to contend that this is a burglary that could not have occurred unless these police officers had done it in the fashion that's now been testified to. If a jury accepts that, and I think and hope that they will, then the bank would be relieved of liability.
That adds to the frustration of victims like Ann Traina.
It's not fair, it's very devastating, and my husband worked very hard, and he's not here today because he worked so hard for all the nice things that he could have and give to his children.
4 other defendants in the Depositors Trust case are still awaiting trial. They include 2 former police officers and 2 civilians. Jeanne?
Even some of Ferdinand Marcos' most bitter enemies say tonight they're surprised by documents showing how money from the Philippines Treasury made its way into Marcos' bank accounts. The Philippine official investigating Marcos' finances received more than 2,300 pages of documents seized by the U.S. when the former leader fled to Hawaii. Jovita Salonga said he was surprised at the extent of the plundering.
I am shocked, and in a way I pity them. This kind of incredible greed.
The documents may also show whether Marcos misused any American aid sent to the Philippines. Tomorrow, debate begins in Congress on one of the most controversial White House requests of the year, a $100 million Contra aid package. As the Contra rebels in Nicaragua continue their fight with the Sandinista government, President Reagan has been doing battle with opponents to the aid plan. Contra aid also is a hot topic in the 8th Congressional District race. Eyewitness newsman Dan Ray reports the candidates once again faced each other tonight at a forum in Faneuil Hall.
In all, 12 8th District candidates filled the stage at Faneuil Hall, while hundreds, many of them supporters of the Pledge of Resistance or citizens for participation in political action, filled every seat. At issue, Central American policy, most immediately aid to the Nicaraguan Contras. This audience left no doubt as to what they hoped candidates would say when Mildred Jefferson, a Republican, and Robert Capucci, a Democrat, endorsed U.S. assistance.
If I were your congressman, I would be a vote in favor of the $100 million.
But most of the candidates strongly opposed any Contra aid.
I am unalterably opposed to the president's request for $100 million of aid to the Contras.
The only acceptable position is a no to aid to the Contras and no money for the bombing of civilians in El Salvador.
State Representative Tom Gallagher and Socialist John Hilson were most critical of Reagan policy, while Joe Kennedy emphasized a regional solution.
Despite our embarrassing history of insensitive intervention, what we should never lose sight of is that democracy remains a beacon of hope to the people throughout Central America and what must remain the cornerstone of our foreign policy.
In turn, Jim Roosevelt continued his frontal assault on Joe Kennedy.
I'm sure that, like Reagan, Joe means well, but both are naive about the realities and history of Central America.
Now, the only candidate not present at the forum tonight, Dapper O'Neill, Boston City Council. He would not have picked up many votes before this audience. And today, one candidate, State Representative Bill Galvin of Brighton, decided he'd prefer to stay in the State House of Representatives and decided not to enter this race. Jeanne?
Thank you, Dan. In another crowded local race, Nick Littlefield has decided to throw his hat into the ring for Middlesex District Attorney. Littlefield lives in Wayland and is a former assistant U.S. attorney. Jack?
Strong support on Beacon Hill today for Governor Dukakis' Safe Roads Act of 1986. It's a plan to toughen the state's drunken driving laws. There was bipartisan support for the bill today at a State House rally. Among those testifying was a young man who killed his best friend last year while driving drunk.
I don't want it to happen to you because, you know, living with a death over your head is not really a pleasant thing. And that's what I've got to live with for the rest of my life.
There are some concerns about the constitutionality of the plan, but Governor Dukakis believes it is legal. The Safe Roads Act major points include a clause forcing the driver to surrender his or her license to police if the breathalyzer reading exceeds .10, and a clause allowing a driver's refusal to take a breathalyzer test to be submitted as evidence in court. No action on the bill is expected for 1 or 2 weeks. 2 suspicious fires are under investigation tonight in Quincy. One fire was set in a trash can at the Tobin Tower Senior Citizens high-rise apartment building. The flames were confined to a storage area, but several floors suffered water damage. And as we told you last night, the kindergarten room of a Snug Harbor school was destroyed in a blaze. Now, police have questioned a few suspects, but at this time, no arrests have been made.
And still ahead on tonight's Nightcast, Boston's booming real estate market has agents battling for your business.
And leaders of the United States and Canada try to reach an agreement on acid rain. And later on, Larry Bird hits 5 3-point shots as he leads the Celtics past Cleveland. Highlights coming up.
We've always worked so hard, and now we can't even afford to keep warm. I mean, what do you say when your grandchild asks why it's so cold? I look at other people and I don't know, sometimes I feel so helpless.
If you need help keeping warm this winter, write to us at Citizens Energy. We'll try to get you the help you deserve. No one should be left out in the cold.
Can you imagine taking a dance lesson with 4,000 other people? You'd step on a lot of toes.
That and much more happens at Carnival time down in Rio. I'm Barry Nolan.
And I'm Sarah Edwards. On Wednesday's Evening Magazine at 7:30, we'll see how Brazilians from 3 to 80 years of age take part in the samba in the streets of Rio de Janeiro.
Then Valerie Harper returns to television without Carlton the Doorman. That and much more on Wednesday's Evening Magazine at 7:30 on WBZ-TV 4.
And now it's time for One Big Happy Family.
Me? How can you accuse me of that? Come on! That's it, I'm leaving.
Oh, no, you don't. We're not through yet.
Oh, yes.
Life doesn't always turn out the way it's supposed to. When that happens, you can always turn to a friend. Family Service of Greater Boston. Friends of the family for 150 years.
All dealers claim to have the lowest prices, but to have the lowest prices, you must have the lowest cost. That's only natural. Unlike most dealers, we have no mortgages, strict cost control, and we pay cash for our new Oldsmobiles, saving thousands of dollars in wholesale finance charges. I can sell you a new Olds or used car for less because our costs are less. My name is Ernie Buck. Come on down.
The Boston area real estate market is, in a word, sizzling, and so is the competition among realtors. To get their piece of the high-priced action, some real estate firms are using new and inventive sales pitches, including free vacations. As Eyewitness News reporter David Whitman explains, there is lots of money to be made.
It's skyrocketing. I mean, it's headed out of this world.
To Sandra Gethers of Dorchester, Boston's real estate boom is real. The 2 homes she bought on a single Harvard Street lot in 1980 for $30,000 have just sold for $172,000. Her initial investment, $4,000.
It's the time to sell.
Sandra Gethers made a lot of money on her house sale, but she is also going to Bermuda, free, courtesy of her real estate agency. The free trip is the brainchild of Linda Brown, a Dorchester broker who also has words for the hub's strong housing market.
Hot, active, interesting.
Tim Engel has only been in the real estate game for 6 months, but already he has sold 4 houses.
And it's a great opportunity for everyone.
But wait a minute, if houses are moving at paces and prices like this, why the giveaway?
To meet new clients that we would not have normally met, that may have just picked up the phone and called a broker that was involved in a chain.
If I had a broker, right, that was going to sell my house and just give me the money, the excess, right, versus a broker that's going to sell my house, give me the money, plus the trip, I'm taking the trip.
Economics editor Bob Goff joins us now. I guess the big question tonight is this trip necessary?
David, it depends if you want to go to Bermuda. From the broker's perspective, it sort of is necessary because the market is hot. They need the business, and so they were trying to attract clients. But from the seller's perspective, frankly, it's not necessary because someone is paying for that trip, and ultimately it's the seller.
How high is up? What are prices going to do? Are we going to continue to just go up and up and up?
Prices are going to keep going up, mainly, David, because of the fact that the eastern Massachusetts economy is in great shape. And as long as the economy stays in good shape, the housing market is going to be in a boom condition because people need to live who are moving to this area to find jobs.
Well, there it goes. It continues to go. I guess the way you feel about the housing boom in Boston depends on whether or not you own property at this moment. Back to you, Jeanne and Jack.
Okay, thank you. I think you got a lot of people thinking tonight now about selling, huh?
Including going to Bermuda, where they have little problem with acid rain. That's one of the issues today. The United States and Canada agreed on a joint commitment to fight acid rain. Details of that agreement are expected to be released tomorrow. Canada's Prime Minister Brian Mulroney began 2 days of talks on the issue with President Reagan. White House officials say tomorrow the president will promise to spend money finding ways to burn coal more cleanly. Coal is suspected to be one of the main causes of acid rain. Tonight, the first shipment of the Korean-made Hyundai XL subcompact cars is being recalled for brake problems. About 3,000 owners are being asked to bring their cars in for a 10-minute cotter pin fix. The cars have received a lot of attention because their base price is under $5,000. Well, this wonderful weather we've been enjoying apparently is about to end.
I don't think we can complain, though. We've had some good days. Bruce is up next.
Madonna and Sean Penn make trouble making their new movie, Who Calms Things Down? Ex-Beatle George Harrison. And this week's People tells you why. People celebrates people. Like Harrison, an unexpectedly important movie mogul. Like teen queen Molly Ringwald sitting pretty with her smash hit Pretty in Pink. Then a delightful people portrait of Geraldine Page, who may finally win an Oscar. Plus, Sex in the Office. Is it good for business? Week after week, People celebrates people. This week, George Harrison taking the pens in hand.
The Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. It's more than dance. It's excitement. It's drama. It's romance and passion. It's timeless and timely. It's tender and sassy. See the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater at the Wang Center for the Performing Arts in Boston, April 8th through 13th. Call 1-800-682-8080. It's entertainment.
There is a spirit that tilled New England's fields, helped to build her cities and strengthen her economy. A spirit of teamwork. People pitching in and working together. So any job gets done better and faster, no matter how big or how small. Most New Englanders can't think of a better way to work. And at Eyewitness News, neither can we. WBZ-TV, the station New England turns to.
Are you looking to remodel your old kitchen, but afraid you can't afford it? These are penny pincher cabinets. Guess how much they cost? But first, look at this. Handcrafted from solid wood. No particle board. More storage space than ever. And every penny pincher draw system is guaranteed for life. Factory direct savings means the cost of all this is around $1,600. For that price, you can afford to buy a kitchen large enough to get lost in. Penny Pincher, handcrafted cabinetry at affordable prices. Call toll-free for the outlet nearest you.
A recess. Negotiations between General Electric and union officials are ongoing at this hour at an undisclosed location in an effort to end a strike by 75,000 workers at 3 Massachusetts GE plants. Union spokesperson Barbara Sweeney says progress is being made and both sides are hopeful a tentative agreement will be reached soon.
Well, and soon, I guess that's when the rain is going to be hitting here. If you take a look at some of those pictures, we've got a lot of dark clouds heading our way.
I think too soon, right, Bruce?
Never too soon. Need a little rain and get those bulbs going here. They really were sprouting today with the sunshine. This is the way it looked at 4 p.m. But the sunshine has been disappearing ever since then. We go to a present satellite picture. The clouds getting closer, the darkness getting closer. Right now, we have mild temperatures with the dark clouds out to our west. In fact, standing in the 50s from Chicago eastward through Buffalo to Pittsburgh, south to Washington, warming to 61 at Hatteras, 70 right now in Atlanta. Mild air streaming northward behind a warm frontal zone and a low-pressure area out in the Midwest. Cool, but way up in Canada, we have the mild air continuing across New England. Temperature right now in Boston is 41. Overnight, that low is going to be moving into southeastern Canada, and with it, showers, thunderstorms, and a squall line is denoted right here. That's all going to be swinging up in our direction, so that we're going to be seeing the warm and humid air coming up with an increasing southerly wind tomorrow. The mild and colder air moving on through the northern Great Lakes. And then the mild to warm and humid conditions prevailing here in New England with the rainfall, maybe a little start of sleet early in the morning up in northern New England. Otherwise, rain, thunderstorms, and on the backside, way out in here, we're going to be looking at some snow. They've had some heavy snow just west of Minneapolis. It's now snowing in Minneapolis. Here's this line of showers and thunderstorms extending southward, more farther to the west on through Iowa and Minnesota with the snowfall that's going on out there right now. Otherwise, down to the south, we do see the severe weather, and there have been some tornadoes in this zone along with some severe thunderstorm activity. The idea is that much of this is going to wheel on by, and then we're going to get some breaks, and then we're going to have some instability in the atmosphere as it starts cooling off. That warm air prevails from Texas to Florida and upward along the coastline. It's cool on the backside, but not cold. Our forecast for Boston and vicinity calls for the clouds to be advancing tonight. Temperatures will be dropping only a little bit, upper 30s southerly winds at light to moderate speeds. Tomorrow, rain, fog, scattered thunderstorms late in the day, 60 for a high. Strong southerly winds, a lot of fog on the south coast. Instrument flight rules and a high tide late in the day. Tomorrow night, scattered thunderstorms winding down 40 windy degrees as the temperatures fall, and then a few mixed showers with sunny breaks coming up for Thursday. The temperature is only near 40 degrees. There'll be snow squalls in the northern and western mountains. So some wild, crazy weather coming up here, but no snow here in Boston.
How about the ski areas? Rain?
A lot of rain up there, maybe some snow on the backside.
All right, Bruce. Jane?
Just when we keep saying he can't do any better, Larry Bird does.
Supernatural tonight. I mean, this was right out of the Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone.
3-pointers tonight? He was red hot. Also coming up, speaking of red hot, Boston was not. Toronto, tough competition in the Grapefruit League. That's a terrible transition, Jack. Albert later on, Joyce tonight reviews the controversial movie 9½ Weeks. We'll all be right back.
Great stories to read and all the program information you need in the new issue of TV Guide. That's entertainment.
Why'd you join?
Usual reason.
Running away?
Woman.
Ah.
Yeah. How about you? Jealous husband? Forged check?
Taxes. I couldn't face filling out my tax form. I didn't know how.
Heard a lot of stories out here, brother, but you're the first guy to join the Legion because he couldn't fill out a form.
Had no choice.
Oh, sure you did. The IRS can help. Volunteer assistance for the elderly, handicapped, lower income, non-English speaking. Free publications, telephone assistance, community outreach for groups, lots more.
You're kidding.
I never kid. Most of it's available in your community, and it's free.
Free? Free? I can go home.
Hey, listen, if you should see my wife...
I'm free! 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 I'm free!
For more information, write or call the IRS.
A plane crashes in the Florida Everglades. Now a spirit haunts the airline.
saw him less.
Who is the ghost of Flight 401? Ernest Borgnine and Kim Basinger star in The Ghost of Flight 401, Monday night at 9 on WBZ-TV 4.
Here are 3 good reasons to watch Live on 4. Jeanne Blake, reliable, credible, professional. Chris Kanangla, personable, perceptive, precise. Joyce Kulhewig, distinctive, dramatic, dazzling. Working together to bring you the first look at the day's news, first-hand, in-depth reports, and the first word on arts and entertainment. Jeanne Blake, Chris Kanangla, and Joyce Kulhewig. 3 good reasons to watch Live on 4, weeknights at 5:30 on WBZ-TV 4.
One, and it was the big bird who pulled him through.
This was unbelievable tonight. Among his many other distinctions, Larry Bird has now poured in more three-point field goals than anybody else in NBA history. He had 5 tonight. He had 43 points. Unbelievable performance. The Celtics by 30 over the Cavaliers. Larry got it going in a hurry. A three-pointer there made it 11-8 Celtics. No problem. And with the Cavs concentrating on Bird, it was easy pickings for number 33 to dish off underneath. Here to DJ for 2. Still in the first quarter, John Bagley takes it coast to coast, and Cleveland leads by 1. But then Bird started his own three-point shooting contest.
Bill Walton up off the bench. Bird hits the 3. Larry wants another one. Yes, sir! Bird 3. Yes! Yes! Larry tries again. Yes!
Cut it out. Come on, cut it out. He wound up with 43, 5 three-pointers, a Celtic record. Celtics up by 16 at the half. It got a lot worse for the Cavs in the second half. Some of their shots defied description, like that one. 126 to 196. Earlier at his press conference today, the former coach, George Karl, said he had trouble.
I wanted to stay here and coach. I had no thoughts of leaving. Unfortunately, a circumstance came up where security of my family was valuable to me and will be valuable to me the rest of my life.
Tough day for George Karl. At least he was spared the game in Hartford tonight. Knicks trail by 2 to the Nets. Trent Tucker ties it up, sends it into overtime. Tucker was hot there. Look at the leaner there. He had 16 points all after the half. 1 leaner there. James Bailey had 31. Knicks snap an 8-game losing streak, 107 to 103. Boston by 30. Bird, huh? Milwaukee, the Knicks, a rare win. Dallas and Houston over Phoenix tonight. Bruins got the Kings coming in town Thursday. Tonight, L.A. proved they are not to be taken lightly by anybody. At the Cap Center, the Kings take a 3-0 lead on the Caps, and Pete Peters literally rubbed it in Peters' face. The Caps just couldn't get it going at all. In fact, at times it looked as if they were stuck, and I mean stuck, like stuck. 2 goals for the Kings. J.P. Kelly. On this one, it looks like Pete Peters' teammate turns against him. The Kings win at 5-2, preventing Washington from overtaking the Flyers in the Patrick Division. Rangers and Islanders, 2 goals for Brent Sutter tonight. The Islanders avenge a Sunday loss to their crosstown rivals. The loss didn't sit well with the Rangers, especially George McPhee, who proves he is a man without shame as he catches Greg Gilbert in the face with a high stick. Islanders win the game 6-2. Hartford, a winner tonight. L.A. and the Islanders over the Rangers. Edmonton about to beat Winnipeg. Not much to shout about at Winter Haven today. The Sox are 5-2 losers to the Toronto Blue Jays. Al Nipper started and went 5 innings. They would have been shutout innings, except Rance Mullinax hit 2 solo home runs off of Nipper. One more Blue Jay home run that came in the 6th off of Rob Woodward. They were tagging the ball around today.
To left field it goes, fairly deep again. Rice flicks at that. It is into the screen, home run.
That by Ernie Witt. Dave Steve shut out the Sox through 5. Boston finally scored 2 in the 7th, 1 coming home on Bill Buckner's double. It wasn't enough, 5-2. From the summer game to the winter game, I think it was downhill for the Red Sox. What about this? Women's World Cup ski action in Waterville Valley. Bad day for the American racers. Only 1 skier made it in the second run. Tamara McKinney was out of it when she hooked the ski at the top of the course. Austria's Roswitha Steiner, who was 47 second run, moved her from 11th to the top. And it was the exciting action today.
This is the
and
last
of course,
race, and if I win, so I have the...
Well, You heard it from her first, right?
Wow.
You can tell she was a very emotional reaction from that young girl, and we're very happy for her.
Revealing interview.
I'll tell you, we were right there. Congratulations to her. Glad we caught her at that exciting moment in her life.
Right. Thank you, Robert. Ooh, the Larry Bird Show, we get to top that. Well, Joyce is going to try to top it tonight. She's recovered a little bit. I told you in our continuing melodrama, she went to the movie last night to see 9.5 Weeks and got a case of the vapors and went home. Yeah. So she's going to talk about that movie, but first to cool off a little bit at the Wang Center, something on ice.
Yes, that's right. Something on ice. That's right. The Festival on Ice, which opened tonight at the Wang Center. Headlining tonight were champion skaters Ty Babylonia and Randy Gardner. The dynamic duo rocked and rolled their way through a chilling version of Going to the Chapel. Then, like something out of a dream, Charlie Tickner glided through Hey, Mr. Sandman. And of course, the star of the show, Dorothy Hamill, who was definitely in the mood. That show's going to be in town through the 23rd, and Dorothy Hamill is going to be my guest tomorrow right here in the studio, live on 4. And right now, for my review of what is purported to be one of the hottest, sexiest movies about obsessive love ever made, 9.5 Weeks. Probably should have taken 10 or 11. This film didn't go far enough in convincing me of the two lovers' obsession with each other, though they start out promisingly enough in the kitchen.
Close your eyes. Promise to keep your eyes closed.
That's Mickey Rourke and Kim Basinger on the kitchen floor grabbing a midnight snack. Before long, the scene turns into a veritable smorgasbord. It is effectively shot and set to music and is playfully erotic, as are the two lovers when they first meet, though there are undercurrents of a sadomasochistic relationship which intensifies as these two act out their fantasies over the next 9.5 weeks. Now, the point here is eroticism, but the film doesn't really go far enough in pushing the limits. A lot of the movie, I understand, ended up on the cutting room floor. Consequently, the ending seems unjustified and abrupt. But the film did help me decide that Mickey Rourke is not a very versatile and subtle actor, and that Kim Basinger is. Okay, now if you want to see the uncut version, it's going to come out on video cassette, and the uncut version is also going to be shown in Europe. So either rent the movie or take the next flight out to Paris.
Don't think I could take it. All right, thank you. I can't believe it didn't go far enough, huh? No wonder she got the vapors last night. That's it. That's our news tonight. We'd like to thank you for watching us. Hope you enjoy tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.
Join us tomorrow when ice skating star Dorothy Hamill pays a visit to Live on 4 at 5:30.